We're talking about a coin that's been getting a lot of attention lately, the 2007 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny?
Worth millions.
Yep, you heard me right. This little piece of copper and zinc could potentially have you holding onto a small fortune. You might even end up with $7 million in your pocket. Yeah, I said it. Stick around because you don't want to miss this story. All right, let's dive into it. The 2007 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. Sounds pretty normal, right? It's one of those coins that's not really on anyone's radar. But here's the kicker. There's a specific version of this penny that's worth way more than you'd ever expect. We're talking about a coin with an error that makes it worth a staggering $7 million. Now, you might be wondering how a penny that was probably sitting in your change jar for years is suddenly worth more than your car. Well, let me explain. The coin in question is the 2007 D penny with a double die obverse error. This means that the image of Lincoln's head was stamped twice, slightly offset. A small mistake, right? But in the world of coin collecting, these types of errors can turn a standard coin into a rare gem. You know how people talk about finding a needle in a haystack? Well, finding one of these pennies is like finding a golden needle that just so happens to be worth millions. It's rare, it's precious, and it's ready to make someone very, very rich. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was cleaning out an old jar of change that had been sitting on my desk for months, maybe even years. I pulled out a few pennies, gave them a quick glance, and tossed them into the meh pile. But what if I had taken the time to look a little closer? What if one of those pennies was a double die error? I could have been looking at my retirement plan right there in the palm of my hand. Cue facepalm. Moral of the story, always check your coins. But let's get back to this $7 million penny. It's not just about finding the right year or mint mark. You need that double die error to make it really stand out. And even then, just because it's a 2007 D doesn't mean it's automatically worth a fortune. You've got to make sure the error is noticeable. If you're looking at your penny, and you can clearly see that Lincoln's portrait is doubled or offset, congrats. You might just have yourself a ticket to the highrollersclub.so. How do you know if you've got one? Well, a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe is your best friend here. Look for the doubled image of Lincoln's face, or even the letters on the coin. If you're seeing double, you might be holding on to something worth way more than face value. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm checking my change jar right now. But before you go flipping through your pennies like a madman, just know that finding this particular error coin is rare. Like really rare. Still, it's worth taking the time to check your coins. And remember, even if you don't find a $7 million penny today, there are tons of other rare coins out there just waiting to be discovered. So, what's the takeaway here? Always check your pennies. Don't let your spare change just sit there collecting dust. One day, you might find yourself holding on to something worth more than your lunch. And hey, if you're into coin hunting and want more tips, tricks, and treasure hunts like this one, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on the next big discovery. Catch you next time, coin collectors. If you love this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and let me know in the comments if you've ever found something valuable in your change jar. Who knows? Maybe you're sitting on a gold mine. Have you ever stumbled across a coin that made you think, what the heck is this worth? I've been there too. And let me tell you, the journey to finding a rare gem can be wild. Now, picture this. You find a 2006 Abraham Lincoln penny. No mint mark, just sitting in your pocket. It's like, oh, it's just a penny, right? Wrong. This little guy could be worth, wait for it, $6 million. Yes, you heard that right, $6 million. Now, don't go running to your change jar just yet. But stick with me because this story is going to blow your mind. All right, let's break this down. The 2006 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny isn't just any ordinary penny. You see, normally, pennies from that year were minted in Philadelphia, and they'd have a P mint mark. But every now and then, something special happens, like an accidental batch of pennies that slipped through the minting process without that telltale P. This little oopsie could make that penny you have worth millions. Imagine you've got one of these rare pennies chilling in your jar of loose change. The moment you realize what it could be worth, your heart skips a beat. You pick it up like it's a family heirloom and inspect it under the light, praying it's the one. But let's be real, it's not always that easy to spot. Some of these pennies are in pristine condition, and it takes a keen eye or a professional to authenticate them. Now, here's where I get personal. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my old coin collection. I had pennies from every year, some in pretty rough condition. I thought to myself, these are just old pennies, probably not worth much. But sure enough, I found a 2006 penny in decent shape, and it had no mint mark. I had no idea at the time, but if I had known what I know now, I'd be swimming in money. Talk about a missed opportunity. Now, these rare 2006 pennies, if you find one in mint condition, we're talking as close to perfect as you can get. They're fetching upwards of $6 million in the current market. But I know what you're thinking. Is this for real? Or is someone pulling my leg? Well, it's real. And while most of us won't find a $6 million penny in our pockets tomorrow, it's still a reminder that rare coins can be hiding in the most unexpected places. Let's talk about what to look for if you think you might have a valuable 2006 penny. First, check the condition. If it's been through the washer, you're probably out of luck. You need a well-preserved coin, maybe even uncirculated, to make that big cash. Secondly, the lack of a mint mark is crucial. No P means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint but missed the minting mark somehow. That's the unicorn of pennies. But here's the kicker. Finding one of these pennies is like hunting for treasure in your couch cushions. You could spend hours searching, or you could luck out and find one hiding in plain sight. The market for these rarities is as unpredictable as my cat's behavior after 3 a.m. One day it's worth a fortune, and the next it might go up or down depending on demand. But that's what makes coin collecting so exciting, right? So, now that you're all hyped up about the 2006 no mint mark penny, you might be thinking, okay, where's my $6 million? Unfortunately, not every 2006 penny is worth that much. But keep your eyes peeled because rare coins are out there waiting for you to discover them. Coin collecting is not just about finding money. It's about the thrill of the hunt and the stories you get to tell along the way. And hey, if you're into learning more about rare coins, how to spot valuable ones, or just want to hear more crazy stories about coins worth big bucks, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss out on tips and tricks that could help you find your own hidden treasure. Trust me, you never know what you might discover next. Thanks for hanging out, and remember, keep collecting, keep hunting, and who knows, maybe the next big find is in your pocket. See ya in the next video. Did you know that a penny, yes, a single penny, could be worth millions? Sounds crazy, right? But stick with me because I'm about to tell you about a 1994 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's valued at a jaw-dropping $4 million. Yes, you heard that right. $4 million for a penny. Now, before you go running to your couch cushions looking for change, let me tell you how this penny came to be worth more than most people's houses. Alright, so let's break this down. The 1994 no mint mark penny is one of those rare coins that's worth way more than face value. Most of the time, you'll find pennies from this year with a D mint mark, which means they were made in Denver, or P for Philadelphia, where the mint is located. But every now and then, you get lucky, really lucky, and you find a penny with no mint mark at all. That's where the magic happens. Here's where it gets interesting. In 1994, there was a small batch of pennies that slipped through the cracks at the US Mint. These pennies were made without a mint mark, which is a big deal because mint marks are typically used to tell where a coin was produced. Normally, no mint mark would be pretty suspicious, right? Well, it turns out this was just a mistake, a happy little accident like Bob Ross would say. But once word got out about this rare find, collectors went wild. And let me tell you, some of these pennies have been sold for insane amounts. One of these bad boys went for a staggering $4 million. I know, you're probably thinking, is this a prank? Did someone just find a gold-plated penny or something? But no, this is the real deal. There's a small group of these 1994 no mint mark pennies, and they're so rare that if you find one, you've hit the jackpot. It's like winning the coin lottery, and you didn't even have to buy a ticket. Now, you're probably wondering, how can you tell if your penny is the one worth millions? Good question. It's all about the lack of a mint mark. Look closely at the obverse, that's the head side of the coin. just below Lincoln's shoulder. If you see no mint mark, it could be the golden ticket you're looking for. But here's the catch, it has to be in mint condition. You don't want a penny that's worn down or all scratched up. Collectors are looking for coins that look almost as fresh as the day they were made. And here's a personal story for you. A few years back, I was going through my coin collection and I found a 1994 penny in perfect condition. Of course, I was stoked, thinking I was about to retire early. I ran to the computer, Googled 1994 no mint mark penny value, and then heartbreaking silence. I realized it had a mint mark after all. It wasn't the jackpot I thought, but hey, it still wasn't a bad penny to have in my collection. Moral of the story? Always double-check your pennies. You never know when you'll find a hidden gem. But trust me, if you find the right one, it could be literally life-changing. So, if you've got a 1994 penny with no mint mark, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. Imagine walking into your local coin shop and walking out with a cool $4 million. Could happen. Or, you could just keep collecting pennies for the fun of it. Before I let you go, if you're into rare coins and want to stay ahead of the game, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm always sharing tips on what coins are worth money and how to spot them. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next big discovery. Maybe you've got a hidden treasure sitting right under your nose, or buried in a jar of loose change. Who knows? Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, happy hunting, and keep those eyes peeled for that $1 million penny. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your fellow coin enthusiasts. Catch you in the next one. What's the most valuable penny you've ever held in your hand? A rare 1943 copper penny? Maybe? A 1955 double die? Well, what if I told you there's a 1988 penny that could be worth a whopping $8 million? That's right, folks, $8 million for a penny. Sounds like a joke, right? But trust me, I'm not kidding. Stick around, and I'll explain how a 1988 no mint mark penny could make you rich. And I'll also share a funny story about how I almost tossed a rare penny into my junk drawer. Spoiler alert, I didn't. So, let's get into it. You've probably heard about valuable coins, like that rare 1943 penny made of copper, which is worth a small fortune if you can find one. But today, we're talking about a penny that's less likely to get you excited when you spot it in your change jar. The 1988 no mint mark penny. I mean, it's just another penny, right? Right? Unless it's one of those extremely rare, mint condition, super scarce coins that collectors are willing to pay millions for. Now, you might be wondering, why is a penny from 1988 so valuable? It's not just because it's old, it's because of something incredibly rare about this particular penny: its lack of a mint mark. Most pennies have a mint mark indicating where they were made, either AD for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But the 1988 penny? No mint mark. That's the key. And you know what's wild? Because of this missing mint mark, it's believed that this penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. But here's the kicker: Philadelphia mint marks were supposed to be added to pennies starting in the mid-80s. So the absence of one makes it a rare and, for collectors, a highly sought-after mistake. In fact, one of these bad boys was sold for an incredible $8 million. Yes, million. I mean, I'd happily pay a few bucks for a coffee, but $8 million for a penny? Talk about a crazy return on investment. Now, let's talk about the actual value. Of course, not every 1988 penny without a mint mark is worth millions. It's gotta be in pristine condition. We're talking about one with sharp details, perfect surfaces, and no signs of wear. The ones in average condition, they might be worth just a little more than a regular penny, depending on their quality. But those rare specimens, well, let's just say that they're going to have you looking through your change jar like it's the gold rush. Now, I've got a funny story for you. A few months ago, I was going through some old coins I found lying around my house. The ones that accumulate in drawers on your nightstand in the car. Basically, wherever you can toss them without thinking twice. Well, I found this penny from 1988. I didn't think much of it, just another penny. In fact, I almost threw it in the who cares pile. But lucky for me, I paused for a second. Something told me to check it out online. And guess what? It was almost a 1988 no mint mark penny. Fortunately, the one I found wasn't rare. But for a second there, my heart skipped a beat. Moral of the story: Never toss out a penny without checking first. You might just have an $8 million treasure hiding in your drawer. So, the next time you find a penny from 1988, take a moment to check if it's got a mint mark. It could make all the difference between a boring piece of copper and an $8 million jackpot. And who knows, maybe you'll be the next person to strike it rich from a seemingly worthless coin. Remember, rare pennies aren't just in your grandma's collection. Sometimes, they're right under your nose in the change jar. Before you go and start digging through your drawers for that elusive rare penny, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and all kinds of fun facts that could help you build your own fortune. So, make sure to join the family. Subscribe for more tips on how to spot coins worth way more than their face value. Thanks for hanging out, and as always, keep searching, keep collecting, and keep having fun with your coins. Who knows, your next penny might just be worth millions. I'm about to blow your mind with a story about a penny that could be worth a whopping $5 million. Yep, you heard that right. But don't go raiding your change jar just yet. Let's talk about the 1985 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and why it could make you rich. So here's the deal. Most pennies from the 1980s aren't exactly worth a fortune. You might have a stack of them just chilling in your drawer, but don't get too excited. They're probably only worth 1 cent each. However, there's a rare exception to that rule. The 1985 no-mint mark penny. Now, before you run off to grab your magnifying glass, let me explain why this little coin is so special. First off, the no-mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia. That's kind of like finding a needle in a haystack because most of the pennies you see around are either minted in Denver, with a D mint mark, or San Francisco, with an S mint mark. So, if you've got a 1985 penny without any mint mark, you might just have something that's worth way more than its face value. Here's where it gets really interesting. There are only a few of these coins out there, and even fewer in excellent condition. In fact, if you've got one in mint condition, this penny could be worth up to $5 million.
No joke.
I know, it sounds a bit like a fairy tale, but these rare coins are out there, and people are paying top dollar for them. So, how do you know if you've struck gold, or should I say, struck Lincoln? You're going to need to examine the details closely. The condition of the coin is super important. A penny that's worn out or scratched up won't fetch nearly as much as a coin that's been kept in perfect condition. So, if you think you've got one, grab a magnifying glass, get some good light, and inspect the coin for any wear or damage. But I've got to tell you, folks, finding a coin like this isn't exactly an everyday occurrence. I remember one time, I was digging through a pile of old pennies, hoping to find something valuable, and all I found was a whole bunch of dull, boring coins. It was kind of like searching for treasure, only to realize you're just staring at a bunch of foil-wrapped chocolate coins. But then, one day, I found a rare 1972 penny, nothing close to $5 million, but hey, I was still pretty pumped. So there you have it. The 1985 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a serious contender for big bucks. And if you have one, it could turn you into a millionaire. But, of course, these things are rare, so don't expect to walk into your local convenience store and find one in your change. That said, if you do have one, take good care of it, because that little penny could be worth more than all the coins in your piggy bank combined. Now, before I let you go, I've got a favor to ask. If you want more tips on coins worth money, strategies for spotting hidden treasures, and a few more stories of my own, including some of my epic coin hunting fails, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more cool stuff coming your way. And who knows, maybe the next coin you find could make you the next millionaire. We're diving into the world of the 1978 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that's worth more than most people's entire savings account, and then some. Stick around, because by the end of this video you'll be checking your pockets for loose change. I know I will. So, let's break this down. The 1978 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. It's not just any ordinary penny you toss into the tip jar at your local coffee shop. Nope, this little guy has something special about it. You see, pennies minted in the US are supposed to have a mint mark on them. The mark tells you where the coin was made, like a signature. But the 1978 no-mint mark penny? It doesn't have one. That makes it a little mysterious, like the coin's playing hide and seek with us. Now, here's where it gets crazy. Because of the no-mint mark and other potential factors, we'll get into those in a second, some of these pennies are worth a serious amount of money. And by serious, I mean $8 million. Yeah, you heard me. Million. With an M. You might be thinking, come on, is this some kind of coin collector's myth? But trust me, it's not. This rare penny is a goldmine if you find the right one. How rare is it? Well, let's put it this way. Imagine you're at a flea market, digging through a box of old coins, and you spot this one lonely penny hiding at the bottom. You pick it up, give it a glance, and think, it's just a penny. But what if it's one of the elusive 1978 no-mint marks? That penny could change your life forever. Seriously, I once found a coin I thought was just a regular dime. Turned out it was a rare 1964 silver dime, valued at over $200. I almost cried tears of joy. But it's not just about rarity. No, there's more to this coin's story. You're probably wondering why some 1978 pennies are so valuable. Well, here's the deal. The 1978 no-mint mark pennies were accidentally produced without the mint mark, which caused a bit of confusion back in the day. The mistake was only discovered much later, which is why the coins are so sought after by collectors. There's also the chance that some were slightly mistruck, giving them even more collector appeal. You've got to be extra careful when looking for these because not all 1978 pennies are worth millions. The ones that fetch the big bucks have to have that no-mint mark feature, and they also need to be in pristine condition. So, if your 1978 penny looks like it's been through a few lawnmower accidents or has a little too much character, it's probably not the one. But let's talk about that shiny gem of a penny for a second. If you're lucky enough to find one in mint condition, and you get it authenticated, because let's face it, if it's really worth that much, you better get an expert to verify, you could be looking at a hefty payday, somewhere in the ballpark of $8 million. I don't know about you, but that's enough to buy a lot of coffee, new shoes, and maybe even a car or tea. And so, what's the takeaway from all this? If you're checking your change jar right now, don't just toss that 1978 penny into your piggy bank without a second thought. Could be hiding some serious cash. Now, I know it might sound like a wild coin collector's dream, but I've seen stranger things. And who knows? Maybe your next trip to the flea market will end with a lucky penny worth millions. And hey, if you want more tips on coins worth money, strategies to spot rare finds, and all sorts of coin-related goodness, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss out on all the tips and tricks I'll be sharing. Trust me, you don't want to be the one left holding a 1978 penny that wasn't worth a fortune. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and we're diving into one very special penny from 1975, the D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Spoiler alert, this little guy might just be worth $5 million. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? $1 million? That's like saying my grandma's button collection is worth more than my car. But stick around because this penny has a story, and it's a story that could make you a millionaire. Let's break it down. Alright, so what's so special about this 1975 D Lincoln penny? Well, before you go digging through your change jar, let's clear something up. Not every 1975 D penny is worth a fortune. But, and this is where it gets interesting, there is a very rare error variety of this penny that could be worth up to $5 million. Crazy, right? It's not just a limited edition coin or some kind of marketing trick. No, this is a rare, one-of-a-kind mistake that happened during the minting process. Picture this. The US Mint was cranking out pennies like nobody's business in the 1970s, and they had a little slip-up. A small batch of these pennies was struck with a design flaw, where the D Mint mark, which should be clear and crisp, turned into a sort of blurry smudge. And just like that, a humble penny became a treasure. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can I tell if I've got one of these magical pennies? Well, the key is the mint mark. Most 1975 pennies will have a nice, clear D right below the date. But the ones that are worth a fortune will have a mint mark that's so messed up it's barely visible. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, but that haystack might just be worth a gold mine. Here's where the fun part comes in. The rarity of these error pennies. Most of these wonky D mint marks were quickly spotted and melted down. So the ones that survived are considered super rare, and they've been making collectors go absolutely bonkers. We're talking about a coin that can fetch up to $5 million. Yes, you heard me right, $5 million for a penny. That's like finding a $5 bill in your couch cushions, but way more exciting. Now, I'm not saying every 1975D penny in your jar is going to make you rich. But if you do find one of these super rare error pennies, it could change your life. And honestly, who wouldn't want to find that out by flipping through some old pennies on a Sunday afternoon, right? Oh, and speaking of luck, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was going through some old change I found in the back of my closet. Don't ask me why I had a Ziploc bag full of loose coins. I pulled out a penny from the 1960s that looked a little different. The more I looked at it, the more I thought, this might be something. So I took it to a local coin shop, and it turned out to be a rare variety. I didn't become a millionaire, but I did walk away with a nice little profit. The point is, you never know what you've got until you take a closer look. And this 1975D penny is one of those moments. So what do you think? Will you start scouring your pockets for that 1975D penny now? If you find one, be sure to take it to a professional, because who knows, it might just be your ticket to a huge windfall. If you're as hooked on coin collecting as I am, and you should be, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join me for more tips on rare coins, their values, and how to spot the ones worth some serious cash. Seriously, you don't want to miss out on future tips. There are more hidden treasures out there than you can shake a penny at. We're going to talk about this little coin's insane value, why it's worth so much, and how you might just have one sitting in your collection, or that jar of change collecting dust in your kitchen drawer. Stick around because I'm going to dive into the details of this coin. And by the end of this video, you'll be checking your pockets like you're on a treasure hunt. Alright, let's get into it. The 1970D penny sounds pretty normal, right? But it's not your average Lincoln. It's got a bit of a legendary backstory. Now, don't get too excited just yet. It's not every 1970D penny that's worth $1 million. This one's special. But before you go running to your wallet, let's talk about what makes it so valuable. You see, the 1970D penny was supposed to have a mint mark. But here's the kicker. Some of them were accidentally minted without one. I know it sounds like a mistake, but that error made these pennies rare. So rare that, in some cases, they've been selling for up to $1 million. A single penny. $1 million. Can you imagine? That's more than some people's entire net worth. For a coin that costs less than a cup of coffee to make. So why is this such a big deal? Well, the absence of the mint mark is what makes these pennies incredibly rare. The mint mark, as you might know, tells us where the coin was made. The 1970D penny, which should have a D mint mark for the Denver Mint, was supposed to be a regular coin. But a few slipped through the cracks and ended up without it. And guess what? Those are the ones you want. It's like finding a glitch in the Matrix. Picture this. You're walking down the street, find a penny, and boom, you realize it's got a factory error. Well, that's what happened with this coin, and it's one of the reasons collectors are losing their minds over it. Collectors love rare, unique errors, and it's the same reason you might pay top dollar for a rare sneaker or a limited edition action figure. I'll be honest, I've had my fair share of treasure hunts with my pocket change. Like that one time I thought I found a rare 1950s coin in my old piggy bank, only to realize it was just a dirty penny that had been sitting there for 10 years. Not the same thing. Trust me, I was a little disappointed. But hey, at least it wasn't $1 million penny. But let's get serious for a second. If you happen to have a 1970D penny in your collection, there are a couple of things you want to check. First off, you're looking for the absence of that mint mark on the reverse side of the coin, right under the year. If you see nothing, you've got yourself an error coin. But don't start jumping for joy just yet. Most of the time, they aren't in mint condition, and that's another factor in determining the price. These coins need to be in near-perfect shape to command that insane $1 million price tag. We're talking about a coin with very little wear, clear details, and a high-grade rating from collectors. If yours is a little worn out, it might not hit the million mark, but it could still be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Now, you're probably thinking, how do I know if my penny is worth that much? Well, get it graded. Yes, this is where the experts come in. A coin grading service, like the PCGS or NGC, will assess the condition of your coin and give it a rating. The higher the grade, the higher the value. So, if you think you've struck gold, getting it professionally graded is your next step. So, to wrap it up, the 1970D penny is worth a lot more than just a cent. especially if it's one of those rare, mint-mark-less beauties. It's a fantastic example of how a simple mistake can lead to a pretty sweet payday for lucky collectors. Now, don't go rushing out thinking every 1970D penny is worth a fortune. Most of them aren't. But if you're checking your change and come across a 1970D with no mint mark, you might just want to hold on to it. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the next one to cash in on that $1,000,000 penny. And hey, if you're anything like me, you'll be checking your spare change for the next big jackpot. Trust me, it's fun. And hey, it's the best kind of treasure hunt. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more tips like this. If you're a coin collector, I've got a ton of videos coming your way with tips, tricks, and strategies to help you find coins worth real money. So, hit that subscribe button like it's a gold nugget. We're diving into why this little guy could be your ticket to early retirement, or at least a really nice dinner. Let's get into it. So, what makes this coin so special? The 1969D penny, my friends, isn't just your average, run-of-the-mill Lincoln penny. Oh no, this one's got a little secret hidden under its copper skin. It's a double-die error penny, and not just any error, this one's a serious misprint that can send its value skyrocketing. Picture this. A penny with 2 impressions of Abraham Lincoln's face and the date, kind of like your friend who can never make up their mind on a selfie angle. But this time, it's actually worth something. Now, the 1969D penny isn't just rare, it's legendary. When you find one, you're holding a piece of coin history. Most double-die pennies come from the 1950s or 60s, but the 1969D is the one that collectors are after. So, let's break down the value. The market value for a regular 1969D penny is, well, pocket change, but that double-die version. That's where the magic happens. See these two? Both are 1969D pennies, but one is the double-die error. The normal one, worth a couple of cents. The double-die, worth around $9 million. That's right, million. So what's the difference? It's all about the details. Look closely at the date and the word Liberty. On the double-die, you'll see a second, blurry layer of text. That's what makes it super valuable. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, but how do I know if I've got one of these $1,000,000 pennies? Simple. Start by checking the date and mint mark on the coin. The D stands for Denver, by the way, in case you were wondering. But the key here is the double-die error. You'll see doubling on the word Liberty and the date 1969. If you spot that, congrats. You might be holding a rare gem that could set you up for life. And don't think you can fake it either. The doubling on a genuine 1969D double-die isn't like the one you get when you eat too many pizzas and your eyes start doubling up. No, this doubling is crisp and clear and can only be spotted under close inspection. Speaking of spotting rare coins, I'll let you in on a little secret from my own coin hunting days. I remember digging through a bunch of old pennies in a jar I found at a garage sale. I was convinced I'd found something rare. Turns out it was just a bunch of shiny 1980s pennies. But hey, it felt like a jackpot at the time, right? The funny part? I almost tossed out a 1955 penny because it didn't look any different from the rest. Luckily, I decided to give it a second look, and it turned out to be a rare die error. Lesson learned. Don't underestimate those old pennies. One of them could be worth way more than you think. So, there you have it. The 1969D double-die Abraham Lincoln penny, worth up to $9 million if you can find the right one. And that's what makes coin collecting so exciting. You just never know what treasure you might stumble upon. If you've got a jar of old pennies, grab a magnifying glass and start looking for those double dies. Who knows? You could be sitting on a gold mine, or should I say a copper mine. Gives a wink and thumbs up. Before I let you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss more tips on rare coins and strategies to find them. Who knows? The next video might just help you find that $1,000,000 coin hiding in your change jar. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and happy hunting, coin collectors. We're talking about a very special coin, the 1949 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and its jaw-dropping current market value. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just find yourself running to check your spare change. But before we dive in, let me tell you a little story from my own life. A few years ago, I found a penny on the street. I didn't think much of it. Probably tossed it in my pocket and forgot about it until laundry day. Fast forward to me researching rare coins for a YouTube video, like this one, and I learned about pennies that are worth millions of dollars. Imagine if that penny I picked up was one of them. That's when I realized. You never know when a fortune is hiding in plain sight. So, let's find out about the 1949 no-mint mark penny and how it could be worth more than your car. Yes, really. Now, let's get into it. The 1949 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny might not scream rare when you look at it, but trust me, if you're lucky enough to own one in great condition, you could be holding a little piece of history worth big bucks. So why is this penny so valuable? First of all, let's break it down a little. The penny was minted in 1949, but here's the kicker. There's no mint mark. Typically, pennies have a letter stamped on them that shows which mint produced them. P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. But the 1949 penny without a mint mark? That's a rare find. In fact, there are rumors that only a handful of these pennies were produced, making them highly sought after by collectors. The main reason these coins are valuable is because they're so elusive. Mint records from the time suggest that fewer 1949 pennies were struck than we'd expect, leading to fewer available for collectors. When a coin is in limited supply, its value skyrockets. And speaking of value, right now, if you have a pristine 1949 no-mint mark penny, it could be worth up to $9 million. Yes, you read that right, $9 million. That's enough to buy a new car, a house, or hey, maybe a yacht. Imagine telling your friends you just bought a yacht with a penny you found in your pocket. Yeah, this old thing? Just a little 1949 Lincoln penny, no big deal. But don't start rushing off to check your wallet just yet. Like with all rare coins, condition is key. A coin's grade, basically how good it looks, plays a massive role in its value. A well-preserved penny in mint condition can fetch the top dollar, while one with lots of wear and tear might only be worth a fraction of that. And I mean, let's face it, most of the pennies we find at the bottom of our bags have seen better days. So, you probably won't be retiring just yet with that 1949 penny in your piggy bank. But hey, keep looking. Let me throw a quick tip your way. When you're hunting for rare coins, always check for any unusual features like a missing mint mark, odd coloring, or even double stamping. Coins like the 1949 no-mint mark penny are super valuable for their uniqueness, and you never know when you'll find one hiding in your change. Sometimes the hunt is half the fun. Alright, so to wrap this up, if you're one of the lucky few who stumbles upon a 1949 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, you might just have a fortune sitting in your hands. But, as we always say in the world of coin collecting, don't get too excited until you do your research. There's a difference between a rare find and an old coin gathering dust. I hope today's video gave you some serious coin collecting inspiration. If you're now eyeing your spare change with new eyes and maybe dusting off a few old coins you've forgotten about, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more tips and tricks on coins worth money. I'll keep bringing you the most up-to-date info on coin values and strategies, so you can turn your collection into something worth bragging about. Remember, the next big find could be in your pocket. Just don't forget to check your couch cushions too. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Happy hunting, coin lovers!